Hey guys, my name is Alyssa Castiglia and I am the Senior Director of Creative at Primary Wave. I started interning in the music industry when I was 12-13, street teaming for an indie label called Drive-Thru Records. When I was 15, doing booking and promotion, mostly so that I could go to shows for free. I went to school for music industry at Northeastern in Boston. Learned a lot about not only A&R, but also A&R research, which is the skill of using data to predict what songs become successful. And it was that experience that led me to get a job right out of school at Island Records, where I worked for 7 years. I started and ran the A&R research department and brought in most of the new artists that we looked at. So I signed a girl named Olivia O'Brien, who's a big pop R&B artist. And then I signed a label called Avant Garden to a JV with Island Records. And I'm really excited to still work with Dante Jones, the producer from They, and Yanni from Child on the Primary Wave Contemporary roster, because it's all fam. It's been good. I'm gonna grab a special guest with this cute fluff all day, so that's tight. She keeps me company and makes special appearances in our Zoom meetings. It was a little bit difficult at the beginning of quarantine working from home, to be honest, because I live in Brooklyn with a couple of roommates, and trying to coordinate Zoom sessions in the living room was a challenge. But one of my roommates just moved out, and I turned the small bedroom into a home office that is still getting set up, but that's where I'm at now. That's a great question. Well, I really am so grateful for my mentor, Sophia Chang. She has a book out that you all should pick up called The Baddest Bitch in the Room. She managed Dresage as a ODB, Raphael Sadiq, Q-Tip, D'Angelo, people like that. And she has been hugely helpful to me in my process and growing as an A&R person and as a young executive. The other woman that I'm extremely grateful for is Rainey Hancock, who is the president of Sire Records. She was our head of A&R at Island for a time, and she really embodies a lot of the qualities that I really value, and we're still really close, and I'm so grateful for that. I will literally take anything at this point. My last show right before lockdown was I went to Elsewhere to see the Free Nationals, and Anderson .Paak came out, and it was like the special guest for the performance, which was absolutely incredible. My favorite female artist is Rihanna. I've seen her live a couple times. I think that Anti is one of my favorite albums ever. I cannot wait for her to release new music. I think she's done a great job with her Fenty clothing line and the makeup line, and yeah, we're waiting for new music, girl. I think for me, it's really important that we change what traditional qualities are encouraged and supported in the music industry and in general. It was always communicated to me that I was too emotional, and I'm not like, not like crying in meetings or anything, but I just get really passionate and I care a lot. And I've realized over time that that's a superpower and not an Achilles heel, because it is my depth of emotion and empathy that makes me creative, it makes me intuitive, it helps me understand my artists and have that like deep level of trust there. Honestly, it was just wanting to go to shows, because it was at a tough time in my adolescence, and going to concerts was where I found a sense of connection and family. I do really dig the hyper pop thing. I think that Sophie was a huge pioneer of this genre, like rest in peace. They put out all their songs on a splice pack, and still no one could do it as well as they could. I also read a post by Benny Blanco about how Sophie usually had this box that they showed up to the session with to make their sounds, and they came to a session with Benny Blanco without it, and Benny was like, how are you gonna make music without your box? And Sophie was like, give me any old keyboard or synthesizer and I'll make it into my MPC, APC, whatever they were using, and just took this old synthesizer and made it a drum machine. It's crazy. That is also a hard question. I think that there should be more mentorship. That's something that I really want to be a proponent of as well. Unless you're interning or apprenticing in especially the creative fields in music, it's really hard. You can't learn it from a book. You have to learn it from hands-on experience. And so I think creating more opportunities for people to sink their teeth in is really important. All of that I think is super, super important. So I definitely plan to do more of that and try to do as much of that as I can. And I always am looking to learn as much as possible, and just want to keep that going. So thank you guys for having me. And I am so honored to be part of the Primary Way family.